Well, good afternoon to you. I love these. Friend of mine came rolling by in a big huff. That's John. I can always tell when John's in trouble. God bless him. He's one of those folks that you never see unless he needs something. Got friends like that. Nice enough chap, and actually always there unless when you call. Just he never just calls to say hi, which is okay. It's no big deal. Anyway, I was kind of downstairs tinkering on something, and I got this weird, like, tingling in the back of my neck. So I went upstairs to see what was going on. I thought maybe the cat was doing something she shouldn't be doing. And sure as heck, here comes John rolling up. He's, "Hi, how's it going?" He's got some giant tank under his arm. I thought, oh God, what fresh hell is this? Anyway, he looked in a hurry, which is kind of his MO. Anyway, this I didn't get a chance to videotape this. I'm sorry. He was in such a hurry. He wasn't even really barely in the mood to chit chat. He's got some mad project. You know how those mad projects are. Anyway, he comes running up and he's got this giant box sort of tucked under his arm. He's a rather big fellow, has quite a stature to him, so he could tuck a refrigerator under his arm. Anyway, he's got a HP, what was that, a 412C power supply? This is one of HP's old tank vacuum tube power supplies. This thing's a moose. This thing's a couple hundred watts of raw HP horsepower. I think this thing was made in the atomic age. It's a nice piece. And John's one of those folks, God bless him, he knows enough about electronics to be dangerous. And he kind of knows he's dangerous. His, I guess for lack of a better word, fault is he never knows when to stop. So he was trying to build something or fix something or do something, and I didn't get a straight answer. Anyway, he was in a big huff because the power supply quit working on him. So, you know how that goes. You try and fix something, and then you got to fix the tools that you fix things with. It's kind of irritating. At least I think so. So he tinkered with this for, I gather, a couple days. Got absolutely nowhere. Got mad and threw a fit and hustled the thing into his pickup and brought it over to my place and begged and pleaded to have it fixed in a relatively short time. Well, I got to stop. I got to clean off an area, and work on the thing. And I let him get me in a hurry. I should have whipped out my video camera, but he was in such a hurry, I just kind of forgot about it. Anyway, the thing wouldn't regulate very well, and it was wandering around. This is a variable power supply from like 0 to 500 volt at a couple hundred milliamps. It's a rather formidable power supply. And then there's bias power, and there's some out on the front. There's a couple jacks for filament. It was intended to run or prototype tube stuff. Anyway, it wouldn't regulate very good. And you see, when you put it under load, it would fold up and do weird things. And he said generally it was acting naughty. He said, of course, the last time he used it, it was fine. Of course, he did all the usual things. He cussed at it and gave it cross looks and waggled a finger at it. I think he threatened it with a hammer, none of which did him any good. Then he used his brain a little bit and just willy-nilly replaced all the tubes. Well, good thing he brought the tubes with him. He basically packed up everything. He checked a few things and got nowhere and got mad. So he brought it over to my place. And I took it downstairs and brought it up slowly on my Variac. And he was correct. The thing was acting a little weird. You could see the voltmeter kind of wander around. It wouldn't stabilize very well. And it never would go to 0. And I wasn't sure if maybe he got rough with the thing and maybe the meters. Sometimes the meters are a little fragile in those. It just didn't seem to meet spec. So I looked at the tubes, kind of did a lot of testing, and basically this is a kind of what they call a pass type power supply. Basically, they have a power supply. It's unregulated. And they steal some voltage to pass down to the control circuits that are regulated. And then there's some pass elements. Basically, they're big tubes in series, in parallel series in this case, and they basically make a big variable resistor. It's pretty much a tube version of the good old linear power switch, or not linear switching, but a linear active power supply. It's pretty basic. So I started poking around and did a few things and discovered that one of the tubes he had there was acting naughty, not pulling its weight. That was one of the new tubes he put in, so good thing he brought those with. I did that. I checked. There's a kind of a master regulator tube. It's one of the old kind of cold gas regulator tubes that fires up. It's sort of a giant neon bulb, for lack of a better word, and it was seeming to work okay. But when I started looking at it with my voltmeter, it didn't seem like it was regulating very well down there. And I did some snooping around while he paced back and forth and acted like a general nuisance. Well, I got to thinking. I thought, this thing has been... He's claimed it worked. After some quizzing, he claimed it worked. Well, it was 2 years ago that it worked, so a lot can happen in 2 years. So I started looking things over real careful, and this baby came to my attention. On this side, if you look at it just real quick there, it looks okay. It's just a little plastic cap. They call these the Bumble Bee cap or the Black Beauty. Technically, the Black Beauty's all black. The Bumble Bee cap has a stripe. But if you get to looking a little closer, you can see there's a little crack there. See that? That's not good. And this side faced out. Actually, this side faced out where you could see it. This side was trapped up against another cap. And if the camera will focus, we can look at it again. There we go, it's getting there. So I thought, so I clipped that baby loose one side and leaned it down and measured it, and boy, is it leaky. And I think what's been happening is it's been sucking moisture. So I clipped it out of circuit, put a new one in, and when I clipped it out of circuit, I flipped it over, and this appeared. So that cap is bad, so it's screwing over its regulation in kind of the reference part of the power supply. I actually clipped out a couple other caps of this style in there that looked a little suspicious. So probably what happened, he'd been using this thing on and off over the years. This cap probably developed a little bit of leakage to it. And when they started doing that, they turned it into more of a heating element than they do a capacitor. It probably got hot and busted that case. Well, after that case got busted, it's a downhill slope from there. And if you want to, you can look this baby up. This is like, what is this, 47 point, I think it's 0.47 microfarad at, I think that was about 600 volt. That's what I replaced it with anyway. Or what other thing that could have happened is this end could have split, which it is split, but that might be from cracking it. And actually, I think, if I wiggle my fingernails in there, I'll bet $1 I could split this baby completely apart. Yeah, it doesn't appear to. And we got a trusty pocket knife. Let's see what happens here. So it opened up. It's been sucking moisture, making it leakier, making it do weird stuff. So needless to say, I replaced a couple caps. He was happy, ran off with his toy, said thanks. That's about the last I'll hear from him till the next. There we go. Ready? There's just a little slug in there. And technically, this side, the little tip there, this side's flat. This is the outer, and you can kind of see the foil and stuff there. And this thing is in bad shape. And it's just molded, just kind of injection molded right over there. And it isn't even round. If you look at the inside of that shell, it's kind of curvy in there. So, mental note, you may want to use your eyes pretty hard when you work on older tube equipment. And to be honest, the reason I'm showing that to you is that is not the first time I've seen that BS. It always amazes me that I see those caps on a certain auction website whose name will remain nameless, and guys are buying them up like they're candy. And I hate to tell them, all they are is a lot of trouble. I think what it is, guys are buying them up to make guitar amps because they're cool and hip, and you're going to get it to sound like a Fender, freshman, what is that, a freshman tweed or bassman tweed or something like that. No, you're not. You're going to buy $5 worth of trouble. So, there's my little story for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, if you like this video, let me know. If you'd like to leave a comment, as always, you're free to do so. And if you'd like, just happen to be new and wander by, it'd be great if you subscribe. We do other wacky things. So I just work on other people's stuff and never get to my own. That's why the shoemaker's kids never have any shoes. Take it easy. Have a groovy day.